Gonna close my door.
Here's to the heroes who keep us safe. Here's to the heroes who help us change the world. Here's to the heroes who work for a brighter tomorrow by protecting our most important resource. Here's to facility managers who are always here, behind the scenes, upholding the environments where we work, heal, learn, and play. They have answered the call to be on the front line to reopen our world, and their work does not go unnoticed. Thank you, FMs, for standing tall beyond the pandemic. Celebrating FMs everywhere this 12th of May, World FM Day. Thank you, FM, and share this video, and have a wonderful World FM Day.
Good afternoon and welcome to the South African version of World FM Day. World FM Day aims to raise the global facilities management profession. As we know, from the largest office tower to industrial parks, from sporting facilities to residential buildings, the facilities management profession touches nearly everyone, everywhere, in some way. In 2010, Global FM instigated World FM Day to recognize this and to promote the vital work of FMs and the industry around the globe. World FM Day is a time when facilities management professionals take a moment to reflect on their past achievements, while many embrace the opportunity to connect with other facilities managers in celebration. World FM Day is a day to share experiences, to promote our profession, and most importantly, to celebrate successes. A short while ago, the South African Facilities Management Association ran its annual awards program, where there were a number of categories, a number of interesting and exciting entries were received for the various categories. The winner of the technology category, technology in facilities management, judged as being Massmart for the successful implementation of Pragma's enterprise asset management system on Key, managing over 300 stores countrywide to this day. And I believe that is going to be increasing shortly. We have with us today Colin Garton, the General Manager, Massmart Facilities Management, and Helgard Pienaar, a Solutions Specialist from Pragma, who are going to share some highlights of that entry and share some of their successes with us. So over to you, Colin and Helgard.
Thanks, Griff. Yeah, as you said earlier, Massmart used to have a very fragmented and very manual way of managing our facilities across the 400 odd buildings that we occupy. In the beginning of 2019, we partnered with Pragma to create a new solution using their on-key and insights packages. Basically, we have everything now in a centralized online system. Basically, all the facility has to do, the individual shop, is phone up the call center. From there, we manage the whole process from original inquiry right the way through to the payment of the invoices. It's all done online. There's no paper whatsoever. Fully integrated the on-key system into the Massmart SAP system for payments. So it's a seamless from beginning to end. Since starting in 2019, we've now got close to 400 buildings on the portal, and we're currently expanding into 11 other African countries where Massmart operates. So it's been a very exciting journey for us, and it's been a very worthwhile experience. We've got much better control over our expenses now, much better control of our maintenance and planned maintenance cycles than we've ever had before. I think I'll pass over to Helgard now.
Yeah, hello everybody. I think what stood out for me was that Massmart took ownership of tagging their own assets. That is a mammoth task across so many stores and so many assets. And they did it very efficiently by using a mobile app. And I think I really want to commend them for taking the ownership of that task. I think as I look back on the journey, they were always challenging us, asking for better ways of doing things. And it resulted in a fantastic journey. Some of the exciting applications that they are using would be the contractor portal, where contractors would upload their own quotes and invoices. So that administration task is now no longer a burden on Massmart. Another exciting mobile app that they use is the approval app. So we know that operations managers are on the go. They're not always in front of their PCs, and that delays the time to approve a quote and an invoice. And so they now do that on their mobile phones. They view the invoice on the mobile phone, and if they're happy, they approve it right there and then. So what they did well was to understand their current business workflow process and to streamline it, and then to align systems and tools with that. And if you add up all these little incremental improvements, then it is time back to Massmart's team to make sure that they keep their customers happy, which is the most important thing. And it is a 25% improvement on their workflow process, which I think is a fantastic accomplishment. So well done to Massmart.
Thanks, Helgard. Are there any comments? Are there any questions? I'm sure you're dying to answer some technologically driven questions there, Helgard. Are there any questions? I was intrigued by the emphasis on Massmart themselves undertaking the massive exercise of tagging of assets across the entire portfolio. I mean, that in itself must have been a massive exercise.
It was an interesting challenge. We had a team that literally, one team that travelled virtually every corner of South Africa. I think, many thousands of kilometres, but they literally went around to every store and tagged. With the app, it was so quick. I mean, obviously, as you know, our macro stores are a bit more of a challenge, but our Game and our other brands, they were doing literally as 2 stores a day. The app just made the whole process so simple. It was immediately uploaded and put into the database.
Colin, were those permanent Massmart employees, or did you bring in a team of contractors?
No, we actually used our permanent employees, those that actually now are sort of occupying management positions in the structure. We thought it was important for them to really get to understand the stores, the assets and the customers, and that was what they do. That was the best way of doing it. So they managed to travel to, as I say, every type of store we had, see every asset, and it was good grounding for when we actually got started properly.
Excellent. An interesting question here. How long did it take to develop this whole initiative?
I think from starting to first conversations with Pragma to actually going live was just over 6 months. So I think we started, or at least we got to a situation of shaking hands on a way forward, I think in July 2018, and we rolled out and took our first calls in the call center in January 2019. So it wasn't very long. The asset tagging took us 2 months, I think, in total. It might have been a little bit longer, maybe 10 weeks, but it was just a continuous process from start to finish.
Right. I don't see any further questions on the Q&A. All right, should we move on? One of the activities that goes down during or on World FM Day is the announcement globally of the Global FM Awards. And it is certainly my privilege and pleasure to announce that one of the Global FM Facilities Management Awards for Excellence 2021 is a highly commended award for excellence in FM, and that goes to Massmart Pragma for technology implementation as nominated by SAFMA. So to Massmart and Pragma, we say hearty congratulations and well done on flying the flag of facilities management and technology in the facilities management arena around the globe. Well done, Massmart. Well done, Pragma.
Thanks very much.
Very
nice.
Thank you very much.
And for years, I personally have been saying that we have nothing to stand back for, or nothing to be sort of modest about the achievements of facilities management in Southern Africa. So well done. Anything you'd like to add, Helgard?
No, I fully agree. We must fly the flag and play to our strengths. And there's certainly no reason why we have to stand back. COVID certainly showed that how we are differently working now, and we must leverage from that and keep on improving our technologies, optimizing the ways that we do things, and use all the technology wisely.
Absolutely. And as a successful award recipient, this will be profiled on the Global FM website over the coming months, so that we can all celebrate and share in the valuable examples of best practice and aim to adopt and adapt their lessons to FM generally in South Africa.
Okay, that's great. Thanks. That's really good.
Well done and congratulations again.
Thank you.
A unique category in the SAFMA Awards this year was titled Management and Response to COVID-19. And that ties in wonderfully with the theme of World FM Day this year, standing tall beyond the pandemic. And that recognizes exceptional contributions or significant involvement in assisting in the implementation of and response to the pandemic in the workplace. The category winner in the management and response to COVID-19 was adjudged as Bidvest Facilities Management. And I'd now like to ask Andrew Spinks, the Executive Service Standards and Hospitality from Bidvest Facilities Management, to give us an overview of their entry and their contribution to facilities management. Andrew, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Cliff. Good afternoon to everybody, and I appreciate the opportunity to be part of this panel. In terms of our response, it was, well, our response to the category as well as our actual response, it was focused around what we did on the ABSA account. What was really important about our response was keeping the bank's core imperatives running, you know, understanding that the COVID response is new to them as well as us, is that we were still subject matter experts in how we responded. It was important to ensure that they could run their businesses, and everyone thinks of a bank, but you've got to think of the varying facets. There's the retail segment as well as the corporate segment, and those responses had differing elements that needed to be addressed in that response. So that was really critical in how we responded in that approach. What was also important was that it had to be sustainable. Everything that we did needed to have longevity. It needed to be able to reach a national footprint. It couldn't last for a couple of weeks and then fall away. And you know, there was elements around this that had to be a continuous approach, and we had to take that continuous approach and make sure we refined it, and we were able to you know, better it as we went along. I think how we tackled it was never with the view of an award. I think I mentioned that in our response, was that everything we did was around duty and responsibility to our client, and to ensure however we approached this, it gave transparency. We were able to deliver at the highest level. We could keep their buildings running, keep their services running, ensure their customers did not feel an impact, ensure their employees felt safe within their buildings or within their retail environments when they were there. And it's been a great privilege to service the ABSA account with this approach. In our response, we focused around a threefold sort of model. So the use of integrated facilities management was key. We pride ourselves with a one Bidvest approach on the account, and with that, we used that network to leverage the services we needed from a cleaning perspective, from a hygiene perspective, whether it was in retail or whether it was in corporate. That network was there, and we used and trusted our service partners to ensure we could deliver for the client. The operational implementation was key. It was end to end. It wasn't, you couldn't just say it was FM Ops that implemented this. You know, we relied on the knowledge base of the cleaning teams, the knowledge base of the hygiene teams. And then, you know, in the background, our shared services support from IT to procurement. The implementation of anything we did in this response wasn't a siloed approach. It was everybody was involved. When we brainstormed a solution to take to the client, you know, there was stakeholder engagement. There was, can we, you know, understanding how we do this. How do we get it across a national network consistently without it failing? And I mean, you've got to understand, in a retail environment, you're going to have branches that are 500, 600 kilometers from a key or from a main metropole. How do we ensure we service them with the same consistency as we're servicing the corporate environments? And speed of service was key with that. I mean, one of the things we implemented was terminal cleaning around whenever a case was identified in a retail space or a corporate space. How did we get in and clean those spaces timeously so that those retail branches didn't lose key or fundamental operating time? You know, banks run on revenue. They want to ensure those branches keep running. How did we keep them up and running and turn those cleans around really quickly so that they could stay open for their customers? And then supported in that was transparency. That was key to this whole response, was that the client had full transparency, and the use of technology was key here, in that we developed live dashboards so that the client could see at a click of a button how many terminal cleans had taken place, what's the uptake on the retail network consumable platform or their rate card, to see, you know, what the consumption is. Trend analysis has become key. I mean, you look at those dashboards now internally, you can see where the peaks were with, you can see wave 1, wave 2, what's happening with wave 3, what we're heading towards. I mean, you start seeing a spike in cleans, you start seeing a spike in consumption of certain hand sanitizers, you know. So your trend analysis became key through that technology. But again, it comes back to the transparency with the client, in that it was all open book. They could see, you know, they could report internally to their clients, to the internal clients within the bank, and say what's happening and understand what's happening. So that's the basic gist of our response, Cliff.
Thank you, Andrew. You answered a question that I was going to put to you before I had the chance to put it. But this whole or the past 12 months or 13 months or whatever it is now, has certainly changed, as you quite rightly said, changed the face of the emphasis of certain aspects of managing facilities. Does this mean that the bar is permanently raised, that we are going to have to, as facilities managers, perform at this level forever and a day going forward?
I think the bar is raised, but I think if you as a facilities management company haven't seen the opportunities in the last year and raised the bar yourself, you're missing out. I think the use of technology in the industry has become key. I think it's made us realize that I don't want to say the use of, but the relationships with your integrated facilities management partners is pivotal to you performing. You cannot do it alone. And I think it's important to realize in the last year, the landscape of any real estate portfolio is going to change in the coming years. It's going to change. What opportunities an FM business takes out of that is going to be for them to decide. And I think the use of technology in taking those opportunities, your relationships with your integrated facilities management partners, is also going to play a part in those opportunities that you take. So the bar is raised, but I think the bar has also been raised to the degree that you've taken the opportunities that were presented to you in the last year.
Something that has come through very strongly in your discussion, and also came through from Colin earlier, was the increased emphasis placed on technology and the use of technology. And I remember going back to 1997 as a newbie in what was then a brand new industry in this country. And our principals from the UK-based operation were then already harping on the fact that technology was going to be the only real sort of emphasis or emphasizer of facilities management, adding value going forward. I mean, that has, a number of years later, really proved to be the case, not so?
It has. And I think how long is a piece of string when it comes to technology and what you do with it? I think, everyone talks technology and readiness, but you're never ready. I think you can always adapt. Technology is great because it can always, amend to what a client requires. We've spoken about it in our COVID response, but it's been core across our account currently with ABSA, regardless of the service line and the use of it, how we engage their users or their customers through technology, how we get them to use technology to rather log calls and having to have an FM or call center to log calls. How do you link in services using technology? How do you measure services and measure continuous improvement on an account using technology? So it's never ending. I think it's again, coming back to those opportunities, identify the opportunities and how you solve for those opportunities or take advantage of them using technology. So I don't think there's ever going to be an end to it. I think it becomes a continuous improvement situation in how you use it.
Question here that talks to the discussion around a third wave of the pandemic hitting us, and are there any specific preparations in place for that? I think I can assume what your answer is going to be, but let's hear it. Let's hear it from Bidvest Facilities Management.
There are preparations. The readiness of teams is already there. I think the second wave, I wouldn't say we were unprepared for the second wave, but I mean, I think it hit us quite hard as a business. I think nobody really saw that spike in December escalating as quickly as it did. And we geared up and responded as quickly. You see, I think one of the things is with this is that your hygiene responses don't require a scale up. I mean, that preparations there, our biggest response is generally around cleaning. And one of the things with that is being able to keep that speed of service there. So that is key. We are ready with that. The teams are mobilized, the infrastructure is there, and thankfully to the second wave, the infrastructure is there. So there is a readiness already. I think as each wave goes by, you learn something more. We learned from the first wave as the second wave came. We've learned from the second wave what we need to do in preparedness. So from a third wave perspective, we are ready. Yeah.
It was interesting in April, May last year, there was a general discussion point within the FM industry that up until then, the sort of cleaning sector or the cleaning focus within the facilities management game was fairly low down the value chain, and all of a sudden it became number one and became the highest emphasis.
Yeah.
And that's a very true statement, a very real statement.
No, it is. And I think it's the same for hygiene services as well. You've gone from a monthly regulated supply of hand soap and hand towels to an on-demand supply of sanitizer, and being able to keep retail branches running regardless of their situation. I think people have underestimated the value of a cleaner up until April last year. Now, if a cleaner doesn't pass your desk within 2 hours or within 3 hours to wipe down with a specific solution, you get quite agitated. And I think there's the importance is that the value has changed completely of what these services do. And I mean, I suppose the last year has probably been the best year for many of these cleaning and hygiene businesses in terms of revenue, because they've had to keep running. They've kept corporates running. They've kept hotels running. They've had to change their models to a degree. So I agree with you. I think from a value perspective, I think people will look at cleaning and hygiene companies very differently going forward.
Very much so. Very much so. Andrew, thank you very much for your comments. Thank you for your time. And congratulations again to Bidvest Facilities Management for picking up that award from SAFMA.
Thanks so much.
Another winner in that category, the runner-up, was the Discovery Group, and being at the forefront of healthcare administration, at least, I'm sure Discovery are and were fully aware of what they were going into. So it's my pleasure to introduce David Pierre-eugene, the head of workplace, FM and real estate management at Discovery, to share his thoughts with us. David, all yours.
Thank you, Cliff, and hi to everyone. Yes, I think Andrew covered quite a bit in terms of what was required, but I think like any problems, you have to understand your response and your solutions. We tend to focus a lot on the solutions because that's who we are and how we've made. And Discovery was not any different, but we had a little bit wider scope. in terms of stakeholders, from our clienteles to our distribution channels to our members. So different streams were set up, and of course our employees being all the sites being essential workforce. So we still had a lot of people still coming to the office, and like everyone, we had to be compliant very quickly, and showing the safety of our staff, and answering a lot of questions. We spoke about cleaning, and the regiment has to be changed. We have a lot of medical and doctors on our complements, a lot of opinions. We formed a COVID leadership team, which was made up of our technical side, from an operational side, business side, as well as clinical, just to wade through all the cleaning once a day, 45 minutes. What's good? What's wrong? Do you clean with? Is it 95% alcohol, 75%? There was all these debates, and so it was good to have all these discussions and to implement and adapt accordingly. So on our side, I think if we look, we knew what the problem was. I think the response was to be collaborative. Everybody had to work together, and I think that was key to any. No finger pointing, making sure our partners were with us, reacted very quickly to make all our facilities safe to employees, making decisions quickly, communicating internally and externally. So communication becomes a key role, because if you can communicate clearly, you're able to appease a lot of the fears, because we were in this environment of fear. What do I do? What don't I do? And answering all of those questions. And then the solutions, most of us as FM practitioners, we are good at providing solutions and implementing solutions. But it had to be according to compliance, and even the compliance factors were diluted or interpreted in different ways. We had 2 to 3 inspections in our regional call centers. And what the local government thought what was compliant against what was the national rules, interpretations were different. So we had to adapt very quickly. And FM as well, we now had to become compliance officers. So we had people walking around with clipboard, making sure sanitizers were in the right place. So as FM, I think the key message here was, as it was alluded earlier, we had to rise to the occasion. We had to be shown to be very reactive and provide solutions to business, and become the subject expert. And I think that has raised the emphasis of facilities and the impact that we have on business. It's no longer just a product and a customer. The premises and the workplace is one of the tools, one of the enablers. The same way that IT and system is an enabler, space is also an enabler now to retain and to manage and to provide solution. To provide an environment that's suited for the company's ambition. And I think that's what this COVID has raised, not only the importance of cleaning, but that space, the importance of space from a culture point of view, from a solution point of view. And we know that a lot of people are staying at home and not coming in, but we can see a shift now. Up to 50% of the people are wanting to come back to work. Making sure that it's safe and all of it. And I think FM as a whole now is a voice and now taken really not just as a support function, but also as a partner, as an alliance to business. And I think this is the opportunity as FM that we need to grab and to show your leadership and your ability to provide solutions. So Cliff, I didn't focus on all the technical things, all the things that we provided, because most people on the call, I'm sure, did similar things to all the environment. I don't think we did anything over and above. It's just that we actually had to do maybe a bit more based on our clinical function that we have. A lot of the facilities that other people on call managers, do not have, well, there'll be the hospitals, of course, but you know, the spheres of the various entities.
Absolutely. There's been a lot of talk, once again, over the past year or so about, or comments made about when things get back to normal. I mean, my view is that we won't go back to normal. What is your take on what the new normal could be looking like?
I think we were all part of a world experiment about working from home, and we were forced into every company, every organization now had to think, how do we work from home? How do we send our workforce from working from home? And this forced experiment, I think, has shown us that it's doable. It showed us that the world is smaller. People can be working right across the world and still providing a solution. I can work from home as long as the technology, but the dependence on technology. So I think the new normal is, as a business, is how do I make my workforce work? Okay. Before it was I came to work 9 to 5 and I went back home. Now the new normal is how do I deal with people working from home? How do I deal with people that are hybrid? So 2 days on, 2 days off, or 3 days, whatever. And how do I work with my workforce that are fixed? So I think the new normal, if you want to call it that, is going to be a hybrid. And it's going to be flexibility being the key. Flexibility to be able to provide different environment and solutions for the various business that you have. You know, I don't think it's going to be one size fits all. It's going to be, and that FM will have to understand what is the various entities' requirement. How much of their people are working from home? How many are coming to the office? How many are going to be fixed because of the job that they do? So we have to understand the business even more. It's not just the premises itself, but the business and its integrated part. So the new normal, I think, is going to be a hybrid. It's going to be flexible and it needs to adapt very quickly. From a real estate point of view, right through to the FM, we have to come up and be part of the solution with business, because you know business will have to determine what is their workforce look like. You know, today it might be 50% at home or 80% at home, but tomorrow in a year's time might be different because of the culture impact and the importance of coming together as a company, as social beings. So our space is going to change and how we work is going to change. And it might change according to the different cultures based on the culture of the business and the function that you take.
Definitely.
So to answer your question, Cliff, clearly, I don't think we're going to be the same as before, where we had 100% capacity and everybody came in, worked at 9, finished at 5. It's going to be a hybrid.
And a lot of us have been saying for a long time that facilities management is actually more about the people business than it is about the bricks and mortar business. And this, I think, just emphasized that to the nth degree, in fact. Yes,
so the buildings are just a tool or a facility that emphasizes the culture of the business. It's a physical representation of the business. It's a tool at the end. The same way IT, your laptops, is a tool. But there's an added layer, which is people at the end of the day. And the culture. Those are things which needs to be integrated into the physical premises.
Very much so. A comment here from Kathy Mitchell. She says, do you have any thoughts on the impact of working from home on staff mental health? And how can FM facilitate team cohesion in the online environment?
Yes, I think, and this is what we're seeing as well, mental well-being is key factor. This has shown over the last year the importance of mental well-being. And I think working from home is great to a point. We are social beings. So most people are zoomed out or teamed out. You know, you do not get that interaction. So That's why I'm talking about the hybrid. You need to have 2 days a week. You need to connect. You need to come back as a team. You can't do innovation in isolation. Even through Zoom, it doesn't work. You need a whiteboard. You need to have that spontaneity, all those interactions, the physical presence, the body language, all of those things are important. There's connection that you used to have in passages. Those are important. So I think the business have to work with the FM team and people or their agile team to say, how do we maintain our culture? How do we make the workspace more exciting? So the one key thing we're working on is people have choices now. I can work from home. I can work from a third space. Let's call it a coffee shop, or I can work from the office, right? We need to make the office the best space to be. So if I have a choice, the office should be the winner. Okay, and that's why we need to change the way we think about the office. It's no longer going to be a desk that I come in. It's got to be an experience. It's got to be a space that I come in. I want to come to the office because home is great, but I've got the kids crying and it's not the best space. I can't focus. Coffee shop is great, but maybe the Wi-Fi is not stable. The office space needs to be the best space I want to come in. And I think that's where I think can come in and provide the solution.
So the office space becomes more a social interaction space with colleagues and associates than a real workspace per se.
Yes. If I want a quiet space, I might as well go home. Well, depends what your situation at home is, but sometimes the quiet space at this point is actually the office, where home is maybe chaotic. So you'll have that choices. And we've got as you said, the office space for me, the new buildings are going to be more an hotel type of scenario where I come in and I've got the great service, I've got the great environment, I come to socialize, I come to innovate, to keep that culture of the business.
Thanks, David. Are there any questions, any further questions to David? Thank you. Thanks, David. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your inputs, and thanks for your thoughts on where we are and where we're going, and not so much on where we have been, because that's in the distant past.
Well, that should be the new normal, as you put it.
Yeah, absolutely. A question that popped up earlier from Ipile Makari. She asks, has the Pragma tool been fully integrated into the client ERP platform? So here we're going to have to ask Colin or Helgard to come to the fore and to give us an insight into the integration into the ERP platform of Massmart.
Colin, do you want to have a go, or shall I?
Go on, you go first.
Okay, so yes, they're very important to have integration between your enterprise asset management and your ERP system, because it avoids double work or capturing. It also improves the accuracy of information. There can always faults slip in if you double capture. So yes, in other words, the costing information from the facilities and asset management process that is pulled through to the ERP system, so that it speeds up the process, it removes complexity, and yeah, so fully integrated.
Thanks very much for that, Helgard. Colin, anything you'd like to add there?
Just that it was one of our biggest wins to actually integrate the two systems. It just saved us so much labor in processing payments, and it improved accuracy, and it was all traceable. So yeah, it was a very important win for us, that one.
Super. Thanks for that. Question here, a comment here from Johan Berger down in the little seaside village of East London. And And he asks, or he puts a question here, will the future top trends in FM change society, demographics, and technology going forward in terms of the world of FM? Anybody like to have a stab at that one?
Sure. I think it's maybe the other way around. I think society will change the way FM or real estate will deploy. I think with people wanting to work from home or have the ability to do that, society has changed that. I don't think it might be a chicken and egg scenario. The same way the pandemic has changed the way we look at well-being and mental wellness. The same way it's changed the way we work, our traffic flows, what it did to the awareness of sustainability. Okay, so these events has changed and given us a way to rethink what impact we have, and that there are other options. We had to think very fast on our feet and deploy people to go home, and all of a sudden it actually worked. Oh, so this is the new way of working, and society is calling back and saying, actually enjoy working from home, and I'm being more productive. So I think it's going to be a back and forth. I don't think there's like a linear solution. It's going to be circular. We're going to learn something, go back, learn something, go back, learn something, go back.
Of course, the whole world operates in a circular mode at the moment, and yes, that's the way it's going to be. Yeah. Good comments. Thank you, David. Are there any further comments? Any questions? Any disagreements? Any strong agreements? As we have often said, and we will keep on saying, that it's not going to be the same again. Definitely not. No further comments, no further questions. Well, thank you very much then for your participation. Thank you for your attendance. And I sincerely hope that that something good has come out of this, that some good ideas have come out. And congratulations again to the SAFMA Awards winners. Congratulations to Massmart and Pragma for the Global FM Award. And let's keep the flag flying. Let's keep the notion going, and the facts proven that there is nothing that facilities management in South Africa needs to stand back for anywhere in the world. I think we have always been there or thereabouts, and we are still there or thereabouts. And in certain aspects, I firmly believe that we do take the lead in going forward in terms of FM innovation and new ideas. Thank you again. It's been my pleasure to be your host here this afternoon. And once again, a very happy World FM Day to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you, Cliff.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good day further.